What would you do if a single word, spoken in a moment of exhaustion, sent you tumbling into a maze of unfamiliar streets, forcing you to confront not just a city, but your own resilience? Would you panic and retreat, or would you embrace the detour, discovering that the wrong path often leads to the most unexpected treasures? This is my story, a tale of one small linguistic slip that transformed a simple arrival into an adventure of self-discovery, laughter in the face of frustration, and the beauty of navigating the unknown with nothing but curiosity and a dead phone battery. It's a reminder that mistakes aren't dead ends, they're invitations to explore, learn, and grow in ways we never planned. My name is Amelia. I am 25 years old and I hail from a rainy corner of Manchester, England, where the skies seem perpetually grey and the people greet each other with a nod and a wry comment about the weather. Life there was comfortable but predictable, a cosy terraced house shared with my parents, a part-time job at a local bookshop where I recommended cosy mysteries to elderly customers, and weekends filled with pub quizzes and walks along the canals with my dog, a scruffy terrier named Pip. I'd always been the quiet type, content with books and tea rather than grand adventures. Travel was something I dreamed about in the pages of guidebooks, not something I acted on. But in the spring of 2023, everything shifted. My grandmother, who'd raised me on stories of her youth backpacking through Europe in the 1960s, passed away, leaving me a modest inheritance and a handwritten note. "See the world, love, it's waiting for you." With that nudge from beyond, I booked my first solo trip to Milan, Italy. Why Milan? The fashion, the history, the romance of Renaissance art and gelato under the stars. It was my chance to step out of my shell, to prove to myself I could handle the world alone. Before I transport you to the heart-pounding chaos of my arrival, I want to pause and thank you for joining me on this journey. If stories like mine, of everyday mishaps turning into life lessons, of solo travels that build courage one wrong turn at a time, spark joy or curiosity in you, please subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me and helps me share more tales from the road. Like this video if it makes you smile, share it with a friend who's planning their first big trip and drop a comment below. What's your funniest travel mistake? I read every one, they're my favorite part. Your support keeps these adventures alive. Thank you. Now let's board that plane and dive into the whirlwind that was day one. The anticipation had been building for weeks. I'd spent evenings poring over travel blogs, packing lists and phrasebooks, practicing Italian words like grazie, thank you and dove I grave il bagno. Where is the bathroom? My suitcase was a masterpiece of efficiency. 3 outfits for versatility, comfortable walking shoes, Milan was made for strolling, a universal adapter, and my trusty notebook for jotting down inspirations. Pip stayed with my parents, whining at the door as I left for the airport, but I promised him gelato stories upon return. The cab to Manchester Airport was a 40-minute ride through drizzle-slick motorways, my excitement bubbling like the Prosecco I'd treat myself to upon landing. At the terminal, the buzz hit me. Families hauling suitcases, business travelers tapping on laptops, the scent of overpriced coffee mingling with jet fuel. Check-in was smooth, security a minor hassle with my liquids bag triggering a pat-down. Gated at B12, I settled into a plastic chair, heart racing as I watched planes taxi on the tarmac. This was it, my first international flight, my first taste of independence. Boarding was a thrill, the tunnel to the aircraft, the flight attendants' crisp uniforms, the faint hum of engines as I stowed my carry-on in the overhead bin. Seat 24A window as requested. The plane was a Boeing 737, economy class with that familiar blue carpet and overhead screens promising in-flight entertainment. My seatmate was a middle-aged Italian man named Giovanni, travelling home from a conference in London. Bella ragazza, he said with a wink. First time to Italia. I nodded, my basic Italian kicking in. Sai prima volta. He chuckled, offering a candy from his pocket. You like pasta? Amore, I replied, earning a hearty laugh. Takeoff was exhilarating, the rumble, the ascent, Manchester shrinking below like a toy city. Clouds enveloped us, and soon the seatbelt sign dinged off. I plugged in my noise-cancelling headphones, selecting a playlist of upbeat indie folk to match my mood, and cracked open my in-flight magazine, daydreaming about Duomo rooftops and aperitivo hours. The flight was 5 hours, but time blurred. I dozed fitfully, woke to a mediocre pasta dinner al dente enough, but the sauce was from a jar, and binge-watched episodes of a travel show set in Tuscany. Giovanni shared stories of his family vineyard near Verona, teaching me Brindisi, cheers, and ciao bella, hello beautiful. Milan is fast, he warned, but full of heart, trust your gut, Emilia. His words stuck as descent began, the Alps peeking through the window like jagged white teeth. Landing was smooth, the jolt of wheels on runway snapping me alert. Malpensa Airport was a hive of announcements in Italian and English, crowds surging toward baggage claim. I retrieved my suitcase, heart swelling at the Benvenuti a Milano sign. Customs was a breeze, no questions, just a stamp in my passport that felt like a badge of honor. Outside, the air was crisp, laced with espresso and exhaust. Taxis queued in a yellow line, drivers leaning on hoods, chatting animatedly. My phone buzzed alive with roaming data, the booking app confirming my ride, a Fiat sedan to a budget guesthouse in Navigli, the Canal District. Arriving now, the driver messaged in broken English. I spotted him, short, stocky, with a mustache like a broom and a grin that revealed gold-capped teeth. Emilia, he called, waving. Sai here. I hauled my bag to the boot, sliding into the back seat, the leather warm from the sun. Navigli per favor, I said, practicing my phrase. He nodded, pulling into traffic. First time? He asked in accented English. Yes, so excited, he chuckled. Milan is bella, but careful pickpockets. The drive was a revelation. Highways giving way to city streets lined with ochre buildings, scooters zipping like hornets, pedestrians in chic scarves and sunglasses. I snapped photos through the window, the Arco della Pace archway, fashion billboards towering like modern totems. Exhaustion crept in, the early flight, the time change, the adrenaline crash. Long day, I sighed, leaning back. I want to rest. The driver glanced in the mirror, brow furrowing. Rest. He repeated, then burst into laughter, slapping the wheel. Resta or resta, I blinked, confused. Rest, sleep, he roared harder. Wiping his eyes. Ah, wrestle, you want to wrestle, like in Ring, my face flamed. No, rest, R-E-S-D, he howled, the car swerving slightly. Funny English, wrestle in Milan, we have opera, not boxing. Mortification burned as realization dawned. I'd pronounced rest with a soft R, sounding like wrestle in my fatigue-slurred accent. The driver caught my horror in the mirror and softened. No worry, Bella, funny mistake, happens. But the damage was done, my cheeks rivaled the sunset outside. He kept chuckling, pointing out landmarks to distract. Duomo there soon. I forced a laugh, burying my face in my hands. First impression, the girl who wants to fight. Perfect. Traffic thickened near the center, scooters weaved, horns blared in a symphony of impatience. My phone's battery dipped to 20%, the map app glitching in low-power mode. How much longer? I asked. He shrugged. 10 minutes. But 10 stretched to 20 as we hit a snarl by Piazza del Duomo, the cathedral's spires piercing the sky like Gothic spears. Tourists milled, gelato cones in hand, oblivious to our crawl. Exhaustion won. I closed my eyes, willing sleep. Rest now, the driver teased gently. I groaned, no wrestling. Finally we turned into Navigli, the canals glittering under street lamps, restaurants spilling laughter and wine onto patios. Here, he said, pulling up to a nondescript door in a row of faded stucco buildings. Your place, I peered out, no sign, no number visible. This it, he consulted his phone. Sigh, address match. I paid, tipping extra for the laugh he'd given me unintentionally, and dragged my bag to the door. No buzzer, no intercom, just a heavy wooden panel with a brass knocker. I rapped, heart sinking as seconds ticked. No answer. Wrong door. The street was narrow, lined with parked Vespers and overflowing planters. I circled, checking numbers. Mine was 42, but this was 44. Panic fluttered, phone at 8%, no charger in sight. A kindly neighbor, an elderly woman with a scarf and shopping bag, paused. Search Qualcosa, she asked. Room rental, address 42 via Naviglio. I nodded frantically, showing the app. She clucked, pointing left. Due block I Sinistra al Pont. 2 blocks left at the bridge. Grazy, I bolted, bag wheels clattering on cobblestones, dodging cyclists and couples. The canal shimmered, bridges arching gracefully, but fear overrode beauty. Left at the bridge another row of doors. Number 42, a blue-shuttered building with a faded Affiti sign. Buzzer labelled Signora Rossi. I pressed, holding breath, static crackled. Sigh, a voice queried. Amelia from England, room rental. Click, the door buzzed open. Up creaky stairs, past peeling wallpaper and the scent of garlic from someone's kitchen, to the 3rd floor. Signora Rossi, a plump woman in her 60s with pinned-back grey hair, greeted me warmly. Benvenuta, you made it. Relief flooded as she showed me in, a cosy studio with a single bed, wardrobe and tiny kitchenette overlooking the canal. Perfecto, I sighed, collapsing onto the bed after paying. Battery dead now, charger in suitcase but plug incompatible, damn adapters. Darkness fell, but the canal's lights twinkled through the window. Exhausted, I laughed, wrestle indeed. Day 1 lost but found. The next morning dawned golden, birdsong mingling with church bells. I woke refreshed, adapter secured from a nearby tabaceria, phone charging. Breakfast, cornetto and cappuccino from a corner bar where the barista taught me buongiorno with a grin. No wrestle today, he teased. I'd shared the tale. Laughter bubbled, Milan felt friendlier. Exploration began, Duomo first, its marble facade breathtaking. Up the rooftops, wind whipping, city sprawling below. Lunch, panini al prosciutto devoured on a bench. Afternoon, Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, opulent arches and mosaics inspiring sketches in my notebook. Evening, aperitivo in Navigli, spritz and olives, watching locals cycle past. No mistakes, just magic. Days blended, Lake Como day trip, train mishap but stunning views, fashion district wanderings, pasta-making class where my gnocchi resembled rocks, more laughter. Language bloomed, scusi for bumps, Grazy Mill for kindnesses. A wrong bus led to a hidden gelateria, a mispronounced menu item brought free tiramisu. Each slip-up a story, a lesson in grace. By week's end, Milan was home. As I boarded the plane, notebook full, heart lighter, I whispered to the clouds, rest well, no wrestling needed. Travel, I learned, is less about perfection, more about the detours that make the journey yours. If this adventure warmed your wanderlust, subscribe for more travel tailies, like, share, comment your mishaps. Safe journeys.